You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The Caribbean Academy of Sciences Jamaica, CASJ, hosted their 21st General Meeting and Conference at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Business Access TV has all the highlights, so stay tuned.
As the university goes through its 70th years, 70 years of service, 70 years of excellence, we're at the vanguard of educational excellence. And we extend heartfelt congratulations to our partners at CAS and CASJ as they commemorate their anniversaries and move forward. The theme selected by CAS this year is very befitting: science, technology, and innovation, vehicles for a knowledge-based economy. This collaboration amongst CAS, CASJ, and the UWI yields an investment in science, technology, and innovation fostered by our robust research development portfolio. It is essential as a precursor to the knowledge-based economy. Science and technology, as well as innovation, has now formed a part of the university's strategic plan. As you may know, our strategic plan is based on access, alignment, and agility. Within access, AC4, which is to increase the quality, quantity, and impact of research, innovation, and publication, feeds directly into this goal. We therefore are trying to, within the University of the West Indies, increase all that we do, not just in quality and quantity, but impact, since that which creates impact may not yet be published, but be impactful in a decision-making process for a country. This conference will facilitate a forum for the cross-pollination among different research fields. We will elucidate and discuss innovative theories, frameworks, methodologies, tools, and applications which may be of use in enhancing the quality of human life and contribute effectively to sustainable economic development. It is our hope that you will take this knowledge into your public and private setting, into your institutions, your agencies, your ministries, so that the dialogue may continue. And with the University of the West Indies being at the lead, we would like to offer ourselves to be that research engine for entities who would like research and development done. The substance of the policies which will come from our research continue to emulate, and I invite you to our next research days, which will be in February, where you can see the research from this faculty, science and technology, on display as it relates to policies. Last year we did medical sciences. This year we're doing science and technology. To all our colleagues at CAS and CASJ, I say welcome, especially those who are visiting for the first time, and look forward to a partnership which we think is essential and critical to the nexus in our regional economic venture and development. I welcome you all and look forward to a productive 4 days.
As a reaffirmation of the essential right of universal access to science in the framework of the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Established by UNESCO in 2001, the World Science Day for Peace and Development highlights the role of science in society and the need to engage the wider public on emerging issues relevant to science. As the Director General of UNESCO, Madame Audrey Azoulay, indicated, the astonishing progress made by science in recent decades has changed our lives. Science and its countless applications now condition all aspects of human life. The resulting innovations are an opportunity for the development of our sciences. They are improving our well-being, facilitating daily life, and pushing back borders that seem immutable in the fields of medicine, transportation, communication, and knowledge sharing. They are an engine of growth and wealth. UNESCO recognizes that sciences, technology, and innovation, STI, provide key answers to build peace and bolster sustainable development, and therefore, we need more integrated science to strengthen water management, to ensure the sustainable use of the ocean, to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, to tackle climate change and disasters, and to foster innovation. This is why Sciences, Technology and Innovation, STI, stands at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. In this spirit, UNESCO has developed a unique approach to promote global scientific cooperation between and within societies, combining global sustainability and local actions and knowledge with focus on gender equality. In this respect, UNESCO is pleased to support the forum designed by the Caribbean Academy of Science Jamaica chapter on cracking the code to gender disparities in creating knowledge-based economy, increasing female participation in STEM, in which the reality of gender parity in STEM with special reference to the Caribbean will be examined. On the other hand, today, as the complexity of the world's issues goes beyond the framework of a single discipline, UNESCO has made transdisciplinarity the cornerstone of its work for sustainability, building networks with multiple stakeholders, and promoting South-South and North-South-South cooperation to foster sciences, technology, and innovation (STI) for sustainable development and to encourage mutual understanding and peace.
Our objective is to promote science and also instill science culture in the society, and because science culture presently in societies is very, very low, and the government has to understand that without science and technology and innovations, the economy cannot grow. Technology we are developing quite rapidly in terms of the information technology and all this, but what is needed is the transfer of the technological aspects, high technological aspects into the society, and that has to be brought by the young scientists who are engaged in those kind of scientific endeavor. And also we need government to support this kind of activities.
At the opening ceremony, one of the points that really stood out for me was the fact that the different disciplines seem to, there's a little disparity. So humanities, we need our space, and scientists need their space. And besides my personal research, I'm also a facilitator at the Shell STEM program in Trinidad. And one of the things I do in my presentations is that I like to introduce the fact to students that STEM you can do, the world is open to you in terms of opportunities. So for instance, if you like art, you can become a biological illustrator. If you love journalism, you can be a science journalist. The world is just open, and I really wish that this conference, a lot of people will see that it's not scientists by themselves. It's everybody. We can all benefit in some way from science. It's nothing to be scared of.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
It has become a bit of a cliche to state that science and technology are key drivers of economic growth in the 21st century. Many researchers have pointed to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century and the scientific revolution of the 20th century as setting the conditions that have given rise to today's global knowledge-based creative economy. Nowhere is the impact of science and technology on our lives more obvious than in the rapid innovations in communications and computing technologies, leading to more countries being able to participate more fully in the global economy. Today, new technologies are transforming and expanding many economies in the same way that earlier industrial and technological advances changed the course of history. Indeed, a growing percentage of wealth in the world's largest economies is created by knowledge-based industries that rely heavily on human capital and technological innovation. We are, of course, challenged by the question, what exactly is this knowledge-based economy? The World Bank and the OECD have defined it as an economy where knowledge is created, acquired, transmitted, and used effectively and creatively by organizations, enterprises, individuals, and communities to develop groundbreaking ideas and models. One example, often cited, of an economy that was rapidly transformed by an embrace of science and technology is that of South Korea. Its rapid progress in the knowledge and information revolution was attributed, to a large extent, to its widespread internet usage. The government recognized very early the need for the country to get connected to the web, and in the late 1990s invested heavily in broadband infrastructure. Privatization and deregulation in the telecom sector also led to South Korea being amongst the most wired nations in the world, with over 80% of households hooked up to broadband. Well, what of us here in the Caribbean? If we are to see any significant movement in our economic development as knowledge-based economies, a number of things will have to be addressed, including economic and institutional infrastructure, information infrastructure, and education. The government of Jamaica has recognized this and has committed to investing more in STEM education. In fact, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM programs in schools remain one of high priority for the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Information. Just by way of background, the STEM initiative was started in a formal and concerted way within the ministry in May 2014 and has continued under the current administration. The ministry established a STEM steering committee to provide oversight to the work of the STEM team, as well as the STEM technical committee that is driving the research and training component of the initiative. Under the new administration, the following have been done. Steering committee meeting would have been held in September 2016. New members invited to join the STEM committee. Just over $200 million have been budgeted to fund STEM and some non-STEM schools for the procurement of STEM-related equipment and material. The following tasks have been undertaken and are either complete or near completion. The first being a STEM concept paper has been completed and ratified by the STEM steering committee. And that, of course, sets out the thrust, the undergirding thrust of what it is that the ministry is embarked on. Secondly, work on a list of criteria for certification of STEM institutions for the academic year started in 2016 and is now about 90% complete. Thirdly, the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School, and in terms of the geography and locale, that's down in St. Elizabeth, northeast St. Elizabeth to be precise. So the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School has been transformed into a STEM academy. This was initiated in September 2014 with some 100 students at grade 7 and approximately $20 million having been spent on infrastructure to include upgrading of classrooms and laboratories. Equipment and material for the science program are being provided to enhance the project-based learning in accordance with STEM methodology. Recruitment of additional staff has been done, and extensive training of the academic and other staff members done to build their capacity. So upskilling would be an important part of this entire initiative.
I am working in the area of materials chemistry, and a considerable amount of my research is about developing new materials for renewable energy technologies. I also do, again, an extensive amount of work in catalytic chemistry, that's developing new catalysts for key industrial processes. I think the area of renewable energy technologies is of key importance for the whole world, but of course for the Caribbean nations. I think, for instance, there is clearly great scope in the Caribbean for greater deployment of solar energy technologies, but maybe other energy technologies as well. We need to move away from the current dependence on fossil fuels. We need, for instance, or perhaps in particular, to attract high-quality students into the STEM field if we're going to have vigorous research community. That is a challenge. It's a challenge for the scientific community to present the work they're doing in an accessible way, particularly to young people, so that it seems an attractive area and an attractive career. It's a challenge for government as well to ensure that the facilities for high-quality STEM education are receive high priority.
Your presentation was entitled Rethinking STEM, Higher Education in the 21st Century. Highlight the main points of your presentation.
The main points that I made are, first of all, that today's students are facing a very different world than the ones that I grew up in. Today's STEM fields are really critical for the jobs of the future. So we need more students who are competent in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and who can apply their understanding of those fields to practical problems, producing new solutions to problems that humanity faces. What I stressed in my presentation is that the way we teach students is pivotal for increasing and sustaining their interest in STEM. That's important for future STEM professionals, but it's also important for the citizenry in general to understand what science and technology and engineering and mathematics are and why they're important for society. So we need to deal with education from general level all the way to the highly professional level. And I also stressed very much in my presentation that the way we teach, the way we deal with our learners in university is very important. The old way was lecturing, that is talking at the students, and evidence now shows that that's not a good way to learn. What I stress is the importance of what we call active learning. This is where students engage with each other, they discuss in real time in class the issues that are being presented to them, they learn to apply their knowledge on the spot, they learn to work in groups because that's critically important for the future. Employers want teamwork. They don't want solo workers. They want nimble, innovative thinkers, and that the way to get them is to have them talk to each other and energize each other and discover how the knowledge that they're learning can be used. Scientific research and the companion of that, which is engineering, to apply knowledge for technological advancement. This is crucially important for the economies of nations going forward into what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where data science and cyber science and electronic digital communications, all of these things that didn't exist in the 20th century are now pivotal going forward. And any country that sustains interest in those fields and equips students with the tools to be innovators, to be producers of new knowledge, that's going to fuel the economy of that country. So there's no going back. We're not going back away from this highly technological future. So we want to prepare kids to be ready for it.
We're an investment management company. We're a licensed securities dealer, and we trade and invest mainly in US dollar denominated securities that trade on the global market, and mainly fixed income securities, bonds, and so on. Those are the main products that we offer for our clients. And our clients are mainly people looking for medium to long-term investments that will retain their value and give them a good return. It's really great to bring scientists together here in Jamaica from all across the Caribbean and to spend 3 or 4 days exchanging ideas, papers, etc. We're very happy. We have a very good relationship with the university. We are the investment house of choice for the discerning investors, the people who are looking for medium to long-term returns, people investing for their pensions, any sort of medium to long-term investment. We think we offer very good products and services in that regard.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
So we're here with Kiara Cosmetics, a wellness and beauty company that specializes in all natural products that are designed to enhance your beauty naturally. And we utilize Jamaican materials, indigenous Jamaican plant extracts and essential oils to bring out that key properties that will give you what you need to help take care of your skin, hair, and nails. So Kiara Cosmetics, we formulate unique products, and our products are really geared towards our population, because what you find on our markets is flooded with imported products that we're developing in European markets or with persons with different physiological profile than we have. So Kiara Cosmetics products are specially designed, expertly formulated, taking all these things in mind. So when you utilize your products, you actually get the benefits that you wanted and what the products were intended for. Cosmetics is a science. It's a very intense science. As a matter of fact, it's a very specialized area that you have to study and be trained in. When you know your ingredients, know how they function, and not just how they function as individual ingredients, but in combination with each other, is very essential, and that's what science does when you're talking about cosmetic chemistry. So the response has been good, especially from the audience as well. A lot of persons coming in and having that confidence, knowing that the products were developed by a chemist. It actually helps, and knowing that I'm UWI bred, that also goes a long way. So it has been phenomenal. So our products are available right across Jamaica. They're also available in the US. We ship to the US. We actually keep inventory in New York. So you can order online at www.kiaracosmetics.com. You can follow us on Instagram as well as on Facebook, where you can keep up to date with what is happening. We also have a blog on our website that is teaching persons general knowledge about taking care of their hair, skin, and nails, because what we really believe in is not just beauty, but your natural beauty and enhancing that natural beauty. We all have issues. We all have something or another that we are not so confident about, and that's what Kiara Cosmetics is about. How do you build that confidence without putting on too much, without changing who you are? So what we're doing is enhancing your natural beauty.
Well, Conrad Douglas and Associates and its subsidiary Estec are the pioneering companies in the Caribbean Jamaica for environmental management and project development and feasibility analysis. Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited was established 33 years ago, so we're heading into our 34th year. ESTEC, which is a subsidiary, was established 23 years ago, so that's 24 years in the industry. We have done significant work in Jamaica in all industries, tourism, bauxite, and we have also worked internationally in a number of industries within the Caribbean also, so our experience is very international. Presently, we're very active also now in the environmental management and project development phase, and we are integrally now into the energy sector transformation with natural gas, where we are doing the environmental management for New Fortress Energy, who is bringing natural gas to a number of entities within the Jamaican economy. So this speaks very well for the industry, because it now opens up these companies to the need for significant and proper environmental management and planning to ensure that we in Jamaica are protecting our natural resources while we advance the economy. And it can be done, and that is what we have been doing for the last 34 years. We have been developing projects, implementing them, and ensuring that the environment is protected. We are engaged in sustainable development at its highest level. CAS is the Caribbean Academy of Sciences, and now we are premier sponsors for this event. And it is a very good partnership because we are in the business of science and technology and information. And this year's theme of using science and technology as a vehicle for development is well within our mantra and our, what we believe should be the guiding vehicle for development: science, technology, and information.
Showcase Jamaica Tours is a premier tour company that offers guided tours all across the island of Jamaica. We pride ourselves in the quality of our tour guides. People spend a lot of money to come to Jamaica, so we want to know they get value for their money. They feel at the end of the tour that they have really got value for the money that they have spent. Our tours tend to be more personalized, so we are less of the big bus operation and smaller personalized tours, so we can coin any tour to suit the needs or the interests of different people. We do night tours. We take them to dinner, we take them dancing, concerts, any kind of concert. I was invited to be the tour operator of choice for the conference delegates, so that they could get a chance to see something of Jamaica, because most times people come and it's an airport, a conference room, hotel room, and then they're back to the airport. So this time they're giving them a chance to have a little local experience and to see a little of what Jamaica has to offer, and we have a lot to offer. I just invite anybody who is a visitor to the island, and even if you're a local and you haven't seen much of the island, to come and join one of our experiences. You can contact us via telephone 876-817-3366, or we can be reached by email at showcasejamaicatours@yahoo.com. And of course, we have a website where you will see a number of tours being offered, and that's www.showcasejamaicatours.com.
That was CASJ's 21st General Meeting and Conference held at the UWI Mona. Thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Hi there, welcome on board today's journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. We'll explore measures to enhance mosquito vector control, plus a look at how students are honing engineering skills in fun and exciting ways. Stick around, these and much more to come your way after this message.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced this week that government has completed a comprehensive national drainage plan. Its execution is estimated to cost between 100 and 150 million US dollars and should put an end to flooding in the corporate area as well as several flood-prone towns such as Maypen, Santa Cruz and Port Maria.
Hopefully they will go to contracting within a month, and the period of design will be about 6 months. So hopefully we'll have that ready in terms of the major drains that will need to be reconstructed or new drains to be put in for Kingston and St. Andrew.
A contingent of 120 Jamaica Defence Force soldiers and 11 members of the Royal Canadian Air Force left the island last week to provide recovery and humanitarian support to the Bahamas following the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian.
This DART team is prepared to assist generally in anything that the Bahamian government may need, for which we are equipped. But in the initial stages, the focus will be on recovery, logistics, if there is need for medical assistance, and any emergency engineering assistance. The task of rebuilding will fall to, obviously, the people of the Bahamas. But they will not be doing it alone. The entire Caribbean region, indeed the entire world, is looking on and giving assistance to the people of the Bahamas.
Over 500 residents in St. Paul's Lane off Olympic Gardens are to benefit from the re-electrification of their homes following the distribution of power lines in the St. Andrew West Central community recently.
Some of you have built homes there where the wiring is not up to standard to take the JPS electricity. And we have made provisions to assist those households to rewire, to bring your electrical wiring up to standard so that you can genuinely take the JPS electricity supply.
The National Security Ministry signed 8 contracts this week to expedite renovation work on 14 police stations at a cost of $195 million.
It's a major task. It includes repair of roofs, electrical fixtures, infrastructure, plumbing, termite control, refurbishing of bathroom facilities, improving drainage, and replacing perimeter fencing, but to name a few.
Operations at the GISCO-owned alumina refinery in Nain, St. Elizabeth will be temporarily suspended to facilitate modernization and expansion works.
I wish to remind this House and the people of Jamaica that the modernization and expansion program will be one of the largest investments in the history of this country. Total investment is projected at $1.1 billion when fully completed.
The Maypen Hospital in Clarendon has been officially presented with a brand new C-arm X-ray machine, which will help improve diagnostic services and patient treatment.
An important collaboration symbolizing the importance of the friendship between Japan and Jamaica. It comes with a host of things, lead aprons, decked rack, mobile apron rack, thyroid collars, adjustable mobile lead barrier, etc.
Meanwhile, the St. James Health Department will be getting an additional 30 vector control workers to assist with the destruction of mosquito breeding sites in the parish.
We want to appeal to the public, to the populace, that while we will do whatever is necessary to raise the awareness, to support the identification and destruction of breeding sites, to deal with symptoms and treatment. Ultimately, personal responsibility and citizens' action needs to be a norm rather than an exception. It cannot be seasonal. It has to be a routine, a part of our culture, a part of our behavior.
And finally, tributes flowed in Parliament Tuesday for 3 former members of Parliament who passed away recently. Prime Minister Andrew Holness led the tributes to former members of Parliament Lawrence Broderick and Glenville Shaw, as well as former Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ken Baugh.
Right throughout Ken's life, and reflected in the tributes that have been given here, is that in Jamaican terms, you would describe Ken as a nice man. As a nice man, a man of great honor, integrity, dignity.
I think his reputation for decency and goodwill earned him the respect of all his colleagues within the House on all sides.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Measles is a highly contagious viral disease affecting many children. Infection spreads rapidly, even before symptoms are evident. It therefore has the potential to cause outbreaks. Vaccination is the only way that we can prevent measles in Jamaica today. 2 doses of the MMR vaccine are needed to provide full protection against the disease. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is seeking the full cooperation of parents and guardians to ensure that their children receive their 2 doses of the MMR vaccine, especially before traveling to a country that is known to have reported cases of measles. Protect your children's health. Protect our nation's health. Check your vaccine status today.
Mosquitoes have been quite a nuisance, causing much discomfort and ill health. Controlling the mosquito population is one of the best means of protection from this pesky insect. The Ministry of Health has been routinely ramping up its vector control activities to reduce the risk of disease transmission. More in this feature.
Oh, that a helicopter a fly. No the one AD's chip tie. And the police, you know get no blind. Dirty Culex, the outsider cry. You don't believe that dengue is real. Who can't hear mosquito bite them a feel. Female, a search for a blood meal. To argue is like a KFC meal deal. Vector control, fight against Zika. Vector control, kill mosquito.
Dengue fever, mad me. They really tend to forget to that the mosquito. But to me, that did look like small matter. Me just clap after the one that will come too close. But me never know say so much did in me. Oh, you see how them little ass sneaking?
Entertainment being shared here with strong personal responsibility messages for preventative measures as an army of 1,000 vector control aides and unit staff muster on the grounds of the National Heroes Circle. These are the Ministry of Health and Wellness's frontline assault on the mosquito population across Jamaica. Over the past few years, the ministry has introduced the Enhanced Vector Control Program as a component of its Integrated Vector Management Program to strategically control the mosquito population.
History, literature, and research tells us that if we enhance our vector control activities 2 or 3 months prior to your high transmission period, you're likely to reduce the possibility of an outbreak. And if you do get into an outbreak, to reduce the burden of same.
It is an attempt at educating the population, and we have to remind them of it almost every single year, because as Jamaicans we tend to forget when it's not a crisis, it don't matter until it becomes a crisis again. We have to be proactive.
Ridding our environment of the pesky Aedes aegypti mosquito requires every able member of our communities to engage in a sustained search to locate and destroy mosquito breeding sites. The ministry's trained vector control team plays an important role by visiting homes, distributing materials, inspecting and treating water storage facilities, and passing on information to individuals they meet.
We're focusing on this one because this one is the one that carries the deadly virus. The ZIKV, the CHIKV, the dengue in particular, but other viruses too.
Objects and containers holding water or water catchment areas within our surroundings are prime breeding sites.
75 of the times when we find mosquitoes breeding, it is in and around the home, and it was put there or left there by the householder, who becomes the victim of the mosquito when it goes out and starts to bite and spread the virus.
The team of vector control workers have the role of ensuring householders recognize the dangers and that they take the necessary steps to secure their environment.
Cover your drums if you're storing water for usage. That you make sure your solid waste is properly packaged so that NSNAA can come and pick it up, or you can drop it off somewhere. That you empty out your vase that you have your flowers in, your freshly cut flowers on your dining room table or on your dresser to pretty up your house. You empty it periodically because it's water and it's a breeding site.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is making the employment of 1,000 vector control aides a standardized yearly feature of its operation. At the same time, the cadre of permanent vector control staff is being increased from 200 to 300, drawing from the pool of 1,000. All vector control aides received training and certification through the HeartTrust NTA, which empowered them with the skills they can use in many other jobs.
The training is about management and supervision. The training is about how to interact with people, customer service. The training is about deportment and personal conduct. Those are life skills that helps you to be a better individual and a more marketable individual.
Extra resources have been provided to support this much bigger team in the field in the form of logistics, transportation and equipment such as fogging machines. Some things they want every Jamaican to recognize includes the additional breeding sites that spring up during rainy times. Water collection containers should be securely covered so they don't become breeding grounds. And solid waste can be a harbor for these deadly pests. The Health and Wellness Ministry is collaborating with the National Solid Waste Management Authority and municipal corporations to ensure our environments are clean and mosquito-free. $130 million has been mobilized by the National Health Fund to finance the work.
The NSWMA stand ready to work with the Ministry of Health and all other partners because we have a mantra and we share it right across. Jamaica's beauty is our collective duty. And we want to have a safe environment for us, not us, but our children.
Be welcoming to those who are deployed in the field, the 1,200 or so vector workers who will visit your homes to allow them to assist you in identifying and destroying those breeding sites. The real response to dengue is not just about the treatment. That stage everybody would have been, the person would have been affected. It really is about how we prevent.
Educational development in the areas of technology and engineering is important for meeting human resource needs now and in the future. Increasingly, students in our high schools are honing skills in these areas and building the platform to take on current and future job opportunities. Find out more in this next feature.
All right, Anna Hugh, would you like to demonstrate how rains along a ridge? Excellent job, Anna Hugh.
This is the Augmented Reality Sandbox created by the Engineering Club at the Herbert Martin Technical High School. This is one of the 5 projects that will be shown in today's episode of School Zone. Stay tuned after the break for more.
School Zone, School Zone, School Zone, School Zone, School Zone, School Zone.
Welcome to another episode of School Zone. As you heard earlier, we're here at the Herbert Martin Technical High School in St. James, where we're learning about a few projects by the Engineering Club. First up on the program is the AR Sandbox. And joining me is the geography teacher here, Mrs. King-Cook, who will be telling us more about this.
The AR Sandbox is actually a technological tool that casts or projects virtual reality onto sand. So it is actually a simulation of topographical features that you can actually manipulate as you move the sand. It is one of the most student-centered tools we have at Herbert Morrison. Students can actually interact and move the sand, and at the same time they can learn and have fun. Before we get to the actual secret of how it operates, there are some things that I would like to show you in terms of how the tool is used. We usually have flat maps that we use. We call them ordnance survey maps. Those maps are two-dimensional, and students have limitations where those maps are concerned. Where the AR sandbox is concerned, students can actually interact with the box and create the features that they would normally see on a two-dimensional map. That excites them, and that also enhances and complements the geography as a learning tool.
Really, it's really simple. It's only 3 main pieces of equipment. An infrared camera that we call the eyes, a projector, and a computer that compiles the information. So the camera judges the depth, which sends that information back to the computer. The computer processes this and sends it back to the projector, which shows you what you see here. And seeing as we use the computer, we can put different functions on. So different keys have different functions. For instance, the 1 key would introduce more liquid to the environment, while the 6 key would change the type of liquid. So we can change it from water to lava to green moss to snow, back to water.
So Ms. Clark, here we have the Herbie Go-Kart. It was a project that was started a couple of years back by other students of the engineering club, but wasn't finished because of financial strains that they had. So I and others finished the go-kart as best as possible. As you can see here, we have here the gas pedal, which accelerates the vehicle, the kart, when we apply pressure on the pedal. Then we have the brake pedal, which is used to apply friction to the wheels, which slows down the kart. Then we have the steering, which steers either left or right. Now around here, we have the engine. This is a Honda GX 120 6.5 horsepower engine. And this kart is a dead axle go-kart, which means that it is run by only one wheel. Over here, we have the remote kill switch, which I programmed myself, which is used to turn off or turn on the kart from a remote distance. The kill switch is more like a safety device. As we're speaking about safety, here you can see we have our helmet, and safety always comes first. And I like to add that the main purpose of this go-kart is to help persons of the Herbert Morrison Technical High School to learn how to drive, so that when they leave high school they can have their driver's license.
Mr. Cook?
Hi, Ms. Clark.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, ma'am.
All right, so we're now at the buzzer system. And Mr. Cook, the president of the engineering club and teacher here, will be telling us more about this.
This buzzer circuit here is no necessarily special buzzer circuit, but it has an additional feature. It has a referee here, basically, which basically indicates who buzzed first. So if Team Red buzzed first, that signal is sent to this circuit board, which turns on the red light. When the red light is turned on, it prevents the blue light to turn on, whether or not the blue team is pressing. So, Ms. Clark, we're going to give you a practical demonstration of how these circuit boards work. Team Blue, ready? Yes, sir. Team Red, ready? Yes, sir. Listen for me carefully. What is the capital of St. James? Obviously, Team Blue is up first. Team Blue?
Yes, sir. Montego Bay.
Montego Bay, York, Montego Bay is correct. So we decided that we wanted to make a board, and make a board that is futuristic, an upgrade from what we had before. We also made it on a next basis. As a teacher, I wanted to have students to do activities, creative activities, because there are times when the activities is boring in their view. So I wanted students to get a feel of what it's like to be on School Challenge Quiz in my class without being on School Challenge Quiz.
Have you ever heard about 3D printing, sublimation printing, and laser engraving? If not, today's your lucky day. We have examples of all three that were produced by the Engineering Club, and we'll be joined by Conrad, who will be showing us examples of these. Over to you, Conrad.
Okay, thank you. So here we have different products and items that were created in the laser engraver. So we have different keychains and necklaces, even little award plaques. These were all done in the laser engraver, which, as its name suggests, uses a laser to chip away at the materials put in, which is usually acrylic or Solitex. Here we have medals that were given out at Sports Day. These were put into the heat press, which is a sublimation machine, and it basically transfers the gas to a solid, which is displayed in the center. Here we have one of my favorite things, the edgelit lamp. Now these edgelit lamps are two parts. So the main part is the acrylic and the second part is the base. Now the acrylic is done in the laser engraver like all our acrylic pieces, and the bases. Some of them are pre-owned, some of them were purchased, while some of them were created by our wonderful 3D printer. Now this 3D printer can do a marvel of things. It can create little keychains and trinkets, it can create full-blown machine parts, and it can even create functioning toy vehicles. What it does is it melts a small wire of filament and through a little spout takes its time and works its way up, printing from bottom to top. I'd like to add that these pins and keychains and trinkets that we make, we don't just keep them for ourselves, obviously. We sell them to the school at a discounted cost, and we sell them to other schools and institutions at lower costs.
Thanks again, Conrad. So we only have one more interesting project for you, and that's the virtual tour of the Herbert Morrison Technical High School. And our friend here, Anthony, will be taking you through that tour.
Today we are showing an interactive simulation of the school. It incorporates different things from different members of the engineering club. Today we have Kobe Jordan. He's our 3D modeler. He designs our characters. What he has here is the principal he's working on, the principal of our school, Mr. Adams. All right, we also have Marcus Cohen. He works on the full model of the school, all the details of the school. He went out and got pictures and measurements of the entire school and then recreated it in a 3D software. Then we have Kevon Lee, our texture. He takes the models and applies realistic looking materials to them to make it look as realistic as possible, having all the scratches and dents of the school. And I do the programming. It allows for the character movements. As you can see, you can walk around the 3D space as much as you want. You see the AI, like different students in the school walking around, going about their daily lives. The code allows them to move around the 3D space. After I get the models from KJ, our vice president and 3D modeler, you can see the school is to scale. As you can see, when you stand up, you are to scale to the school. So are the characters in the simulation. Here is the document center for school. Down there, the area that we are looking is the visual arts area, and over there is the TD rooms. So you can see it's a fairly accurate model of the school.
School zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone.
Small, medium and micro enterprises have an important role in the growth and development of Jamaica's economy. Government has been ensuring there are opportunities and business facilitation in place for their growth. We'll learn more in this feature.
If it is that one day you're not feeling well or you have somebody who needs care at home, what we will do is that we'll have one of our nurses or our doctors come in and take care of the person.
Jamaica is cultivating an entrepreneurial culture, and young people like former fashion designer Chanel Francis are leading the way. It's estimated that over 90% of new jobs in Jamaica are created by small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. This surge in the SME sector is driven by a new passion for entrepreneurship, government policies, and public-private partnerships. The Small Business Association is ensuring that entrepreneurs are aware of assistance programs like the Voucher for Technical Assistance to help SMEs with financial statements, business and marketing plans, and other technical needs. It's the result of a partnership between the Development Bank of Jamaica and the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. And companies such as the National Bakery have been pouring millions into philanthropic ventures that support SMEs. The Bold Ones is one such program where assistance is provided to selected SMEs in the manufacturing sector to market their products, grow their companies, and employ more Jamaicans. The junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange is helping to build the sector by providing a platform for SMEs to increase funds and raise the profile of their business. The government of Jamaica is also playing its part to develop a flourishing SME sector.
My mission is to elevate the MSMEs to a formal and structured sector in the Jamaican economy and to accord them the dignity they deserve as critical contributors to national building.
To help achieve this goal, the government has established an office to roll out its SME and entrepreneurship policy. Some of the key areas of focus include cutting the bureaucracy and regulatory costs of setting up and operating businesses. The government is also providing business development support through organizations like the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and Startup Jamaica. There is greater access to financing. SMEs can now use non-traditional assets as collateral. They can also benefit from a $30 million loan facility through the Exim Bank and the Jamaica Manufacturers Association. But it's not just the SME sector that's vibrant. Social enterprises are also making a profit and making a difference. One example is the Jamaica School for Social Entrepreneurship. It targets individuals and groups that run businesses for the social and environmental benefit of their communities. Returning residents and members of the Jamaican diaspora have also been active, and they are benefiting from the support of projects like the JN Foundation Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, or SEBI. This JN USAID project has been helping grant-funded operations transition into viable, profit-making businesses to support their social missions. Through SEBI, more than 130 community members have been employed in social enterprises, and some $37.7 million Jamaican dollars in revenue has been generated. Another initiative that's helping social enterprises is JN's iSupport Jamaica platform. Because of iSupport, projects under the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force on Education and many others are being exposed to crowdfunding. Thanks to the big ideas and boldness of small, medium-sized and social enterprises, coupled with enabling government policies and partnerships across sectors, Jamaica's small, medium-sized and social enterprises are making profits, creating employment and making a difference across the island.
We've come to the close of Jamaica Magazine for today. We hope you've been enlightened and ask that you do join us again tomorrow for more. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, gis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is here at the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. This year's conference is governed under the theme, Expanding Our Borders, Securing Our Investment. I'm Javon Keys and I'll be bringing you the happenings of this year's conference.
Someone once said that all that glitters is not gold. Well, the JSC has proven them wrong. Just look around and you will see the glitter. And of course, the last time I checked, 50 years is a golden anniversary. Yes? So, there. Need I say more? Now, we have a great evening lined up for you, so I'd like to invite you at this time to just make yourselves at home. Relax. And as you're doing that, I'm going to now make way for the opening remarks and welcome. And to do that, we invite the Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange to join us on stage. Please welcome Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest.
Welcome to the JC's Regional Conference on Investments and the Capital Markets. This year is particularly special for us because, as you know, we stand on the threshold of our 50 years anniversary celebration. And you can clap for that. Its longevity stands as testament to its founding fathers, including the Honorable Alfred Rattray, Mr. Esau Edward Gale, Mr. Raglan Solomon Golin, Mr. William Sams, and former Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Edward Seaga, who at the time was Jamaica's Minister of Finance. We are pleased and honored to once again host this premier regional investment event in collaboration with our international and local lead sponsors, Jefferies, NCB Group, along with other sponsors, all of whom have continued to consistently support us. Every year when we call on them, they say yes, because it's a good conference. Our conference is now in its 14th year, and it has become a staple on the menu of financial events for all our stakeholders. To our sponsors, investors, and those who make the annual trek to this event, we feel honored that through your support, we have been able to assist with the growth and development of the capital markets. This year's theme focuses on expanding our borders while securing our future. It recognizes that regionally, we're a part of an evolving global market which is rapidly changing to such an extent that we hardly recognize it. However, it is imperative that we embrace it if we are to achieve real economic growth and prosperity. We know that as a region, we are small, given our combined population compared to the larger, more developed markets. But the size of a population should not matter in the context of globalization, where equality can be driven by technology, which has itself altered what was considered normal. A normal where capital flows to market considered to be developed. But now with technology, normal can mean that capital flows to our markets. What if our region were to be seized of the fact that capital can and will flow into our markets if we reposition ourselves and beckon investors globally to a region where capital sustainability is practiced and where there is a balance between financial and social returns, which itself accelerate growth. And it is to this end that we are going to be launching the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, because we feel that capital will come to our markets whilst we promulgate the social. This concept of social impact investing having a place beside our financial investing, while fairly new, when practiced, shows positive correlation between capital efficiency and social advancement. Social inequality matters economically, as countries with greater levels of inequality are more economically fragile. This means the capital market and players within it who can merge technology, products, and services, innovating a symbiotic relationship between capital and social, will ensure that our regional economies achieve exponential growth. It is within this context that the Jamaica Stock Exchange will launch the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange this evening, as we believe that we must play a role in this value chain. Further, as a member of the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges, we are charged with a mission to assist in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. This social stock exchange intends to link social and financial capital by facilitating a platform and an inclusive framework for social returns through donations and social and financial returns through social impact investing. Again, welcome and enjoy the rest of the evening's proceedings.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Stay with us. More happenings from the 14th Regional Capital Market and Investment Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. We'll be right back.
Taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Crow Jamaica now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Crow team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@crowhorwath.com.jm. Website, www.crow.com/jm.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're tuned into BATV's coverage of the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Market Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Let's head to the stage where we'll have the chairman's address.
Effective diversification follows a key principle that risk is inversely related to the number of differentiated types of assets that make up the product. To really have a well-diversified product means to add strength or a backbone to the product by giving it sufficient variety and optimal mix which can withstand the conditions posed by those risks we can and those we cannot control. A good way to look at your product, and by extension your organization, is to see it as a sum of parts. Is each component so unique that it achieves a different purpose, or are all components doing the same thing? Your product becomes a solution once you have achieved the sum of all parts. But at the heart of diversification too is financial inclusion. Making financial products and services and information available to all individuals, irrespective of their net worth, has to guide the way we craft our products and services. FinTech has quickly become an integral tool in facilitating financial inclusion, especially among today's customers who want high quality, low cost, and convenient alternatives, and whose lives are centered on technology. The growth we need to achieve within the region will not come by offering financial opportunities only to the wealthy. Economic growth is fueled when everyone has a chance to participate. When carefully diversifying a product, service, or portfolio, the word risk is unavoidably present. While risk means different things to different people, the common question, whether you are the financial service provider choosing assets to create a product or the consumer of the product, should always be, is it really worth the effort? We ask this question because in search of growth, there is always a temptation to search for growth. Because in search of growth, there is always a temptation to reach for the alternative with the highest returns, even when we know better. Bigger is better, we are sometimes told. However, real growth always carries a large element of sustainability and longevity that most times will not be achieved by chasing only supernormal returns. And we can all recall the Ponzi schemes, but I'll leave that for another session. Effective diversification of product offerings or revenue streams is therefore the only way to ensure sustainable, prosperity. Whether in the household, the firm, or the economy. Economic conditions are favorable. Interest rates are at all-time lows. Technology and the access to it has seen exponential growth. There is no better time than the present to reimagine the way we see growth or reshape our thinking to capabilities on these advancements, to capitalize on these advancements. The financial services industry in Jamaica has come a long way, and I must use this opportunity to commend industry players who have taken the strategic decision to become disruptors in the industry. You have all done very well in achieving a good balance between technology and the needs of today's customers. And many of you have realized the shift from brick and mortar services requires alternatives that are client-focused and relatable. The disruptive way of thinking needs to live in our DNA while we search for sustainable growth, as it opens up significant opportunities to reach new customers and expand the potential of all stakeholders. We do not have to look very far to see a shining example of product and service diversification than the Jamaica Stock Exchange. A few years ago, and few enough for me to remember at this age, the stock exchange was almost solely dependent on market activity revenue. A significant step was made in making decisions to diversify their financial service offerings, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange Group today is the largest offering of trust services in the country. It is a significant improvement, and apart from being number one for equity transaction, the stock exchange has transformed itself into an extremely profitable company through this diversification. What is the key takeaway, ladies and gentlemen? Globally, financial markets continue to undergo significant change on a daily basis. The improvements in and growing access to technology continues to make investing today significantly different from what it was even a year ago, and the region is no exception. Additionally, developing countries such as Jamaica and others within the region have become more attractive investment targets as they keep up with this growing pace. It now seems the norm for Jamaica's investing environment to make the international news, with our stock market beating returns everywhere else in the world, and more recently, the Bank of Jamaica's Beef It Inflation Target campaign. This confidence can help serve as a significant push in expanding our reach around the world. With this change comes a greater need for diversification, which will encourage the creative thinking and innovation needed to spur growth.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Welcome back to the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Market Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Let's head back to the stage.
It's a pleasure to be here in the capacities of CEO of NCB Capital Markets and President of the Local Securities Lobby Group, the Jamaica Securities Dealers Association, JSDA. NCB Capital Markets is proud for a third consecutive year to be the lead local sponsor of the annual JC Conference. The conference is a staple in the capital markets calendar, not just locally, but regionally. And our continued association with this event tangibly demonstrates our commitment to the growth of the regional markets. The role of the capital markets and the importance of its various players in facilitating GDP growth is generally not understood or at best not fully appreciated. The starting point for any business enterprise is capital, or risk capital for emphasis. For a developing country, access to bank financing is relatively good, but to access it, you need risked capital, a type of funding that falls outside the mandate of a commercial bank. capital in the form of equity or some form of subordinated debt is a key ingredient in credit expansion. As such, the capital markets provides a bridge for those that are in need and those that have risk capital to invest. The capital market also provides infrastructure development capital that has strong socio-economic benefits through construction of roads, water and sewer systems, housing, energy, telecommunications, public transport, etc. Moreover, the capital markets promotes private-public sector partnerships to encourage participation of the private sector in productive investments. The need to shift economic development from the public to the private sector to enhance economic productivity has become inevitable as regional governments continue to be financially constrained. In Jamaica, the size of the non-banking financial system, which are active participants in the capital markets, stood at approximately 1.7 trillion Jamaican dollars, exceeding that of the banking system. Therefore, if you agree with the points made earlier, then the data suggests that the opportunity for capital markets-driven growth is tremendous, especially at a time when the government is net repayer of debt. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are to achieve the elusive 4 to 5% GDP growth, a well-functioning capital markets is necessary. I must take this opportunity to commend the government on the work it has done during the last calendar year in facilitating the deepening of the capital markets. As a regulator, the interactions with the Financial Services Commission, FSC, continues to improve. In addition, directionally, we have seen a greater openness on the part of the central bank as it relates to the importance of the capital markets. I must commend the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Nigel Clarke, for his leadership in the whole process. Last year, the government retained the services of Jamaican-born David Marston, who is a former senior advisor, deputy director, and chief risk officer of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. His mandate is to work along with the central bank and various authorities in recommending changes to the regulatory framework that will allow for the deepening of the capital markets in an effort to accelerate economic expansion. I find Mr. Marston's approach to be consultative and practical in nature and look forward to the implementation of a number of initiatives discussed. Areas such as allowable assets for institutional investors, the liquidity and price discovery mechanisms for sovereign and corporate debt, initiatives to encourage more public debt listings, and the creation of a ratings culture are critical as we aim to deepen the markets. We also commend the administration on the initiative to strengthen the institutional framework of the Bank of Jamaica via an amendment to the BOJ Act. The GSDA's primary ask in this regard is that there is representation from the non-bank financial sector in any body responsible for developing and implementing policies impacting the financial system. While we believe that directionally we are on a good path, some constraints exist that we must address if we are to fully benefit from the work being done. And I'll speak to two, and I'm glad that the Prime Minister is here. The first one has to do with the limitation placed on fund managers and securities dealers in acquiring foreign currency denominated debt securities issued by local companies, as well as a restriction on the same local companies and securities dealers to issue foreign currency debt securities. This goes counter to the notion of having a liberalized foreign currency market and is anti-competitive. We understand the concern regarding the potential impact of the capital markets on the foreign currency market. However, I want to make a few points. Given Jamaica's experience with foreign currency movement over the decades, making a significant dent on the level of dollarization in the financial system may very well take a generation. As such, for the foreseeable future, there will always be a pool of existing USD liquidity for corporates to tap into without investors having to convert from local currency to hard currency. There are companies that are natural borrowers of USD, such as BPOs and hotels, to name a few. And this is supported by banking data that shows 26% of loans are hard currency denominated. And if you were to look into the corporate space, that percentage is much higher. There are instances where a bank loan may not be the best fit. As such, these companies must tap into the capital markets. The problem occurs, however, when these companies are forced to borrow in local currency, then convert to US dollars instead of tapping into the existing pool of hard currency liquidity. This essentially creates currency pressures, the same pressure or the same problem that the authorities are trying to avoid. Secondly, given the improved outlook for the economy and the attention that Jamaica has been received internationally, it is very likely that sizable foreign currency denominated capital market transactions will attract international investors, bringing in more hard currency into the country. Thirdly, high net worth individuals that really want hard currency exposure will just simply move their funds overseas if there's a scarcity of quality local USD assets to invest in, creating a bigger problem, that of capital flight. We understand that the capital markets could cause occasional volatility in the foreign currency market. We, however, believe that the concern is overstated and that the residual risk is manageable. Our recommendation is to set a discrete time frame for relaxation of these restrictions. An appropriate time frame will allow stakeholders to plan to mitigate any resulting risk while fully capitalizing on the opportunities that will arise. The second matter that I want to discuss is that of tax inequality. As it is, regulated financial entities, with the exception of life insurance companies, are subject to a corporate income tax rate of 33 1/3%, compared to other companies taxed at 25%. Additionally, there is a tax on assets of 0.25%, which for income tax purposes is not a tax-deductible expense. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, when this tax rate was increased, some of our members had an effective tax rate of 60%. The inequality in the taxation, with asset tax in particular, came about at a time when the government of Jamaica embarked on programs to improve its fiscal situation. While the securities industry strongly opposed this implementation, one could see the government's reason for targeting the financial sector, given its transparent governance framework and the high compliance rate for the sector. Fast forward 6 years, the GOJ's fiscal situation has improved, and now the country has moved from a fiscal deficit of 3.9% of GDP to a surplus of 0.1%, and from a debt to GDP of 132.5% to close to 100% of GDP. As an industry, we are proud to have played our part, as painful as it may have been. However, now that the country is on the right track, we believe it is now time to revisit this regime. Now is the time to remove the current asset tax and bring the corporate tax rate of financial institutions in line with non-financial companies. A few points to note. The asset tax is essentially a tax on capital and limits a securities dealer's ability to execute on its market-making mandate, which is a critical function in the market's ecosystem. Further, this tax on capital is in addition to the slew of capital charges already implemented under the IMF program. Secondly, there is no other country in our region with this level of tax differentiation. And Prime Minister Motley will tell you that in Barbados, which has a more flexible regulatory regime and has just embarked on our IMF program, has adjusted its income tax rate in line with that of international business companies. We know IBCs are closer to 0%. The circumstances, of course, are different, right? However, the point I want to make is that capital will go where it is most welcomed, and we need to ensure that the environment in which our market makers operate is conducive to the execution of their mandate.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Before I close, it would be remiss of me not to take this opportunity to mention our NTB Capital Markets-led initiative geared towards deepening the capital markets. Over the past 2 years, financial years, we have been involved in over $1.7 billion worth of capital markets and structured products transactions across the region. Last year, we would have been involved in close to half of the entire Jamaican dollar denominated private placements in terms of value executed. And would have executed under the FXCs, would have also executed a similar percentage in value of equities traded on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This year, we'll be focusing more on smaller business and market innovation. And the chairman spoke earlier about technology and being disruptive. In tandem with our commercial banking arm, there will be greater emphasis on capacity building for SMEs that have junior market listing potential. To kickstart this collaborative effort, we will waive or arrange fees for all junior market mandates signed with us between now and September 30 of this calendar year. So starting tonight, ladies and gentlemen, junior market IPOs arranged by us will be done free of broker fees. This demonstrates the NCB's financial group's commitment to our SMEs, as well as the further development of the equities markets and its potential impact on nation building. The second initiative involves digitizing the IPO process. 13 months ago, NCB Capital Markets had the distinction of executing the largest IPO in Jamaica's history. This IPO was done for Wisynco Limited, and we saw us processing over 8,000 applications, the most by far under the stock exchange dematerialized framework. The processing of these subscriptions was an administrative headache for both the NCB and the Jamaica Stock Exchange. As a result, the NCB team challenged itself to create a digital tool that could process an IPO that is 10 times that of Wisynco's in terms of applications in less than 1/10 of the time. Today, I can share with you that by the end of this calendar quarter, we'll have a paperless, end-to-end automated IPO solution plugged directly into the Jamaica Central Securities Depository. So imagine this, participating in an IPO online, whether from your home or at our location, that closes today, Tuesday, with 80,000 or more subscriptions, being able to know your allocation tomorrow, and with your refunds being remitted to you by Thursday of this week, a 2-day turnaround time. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a creation of an Amazon-like experience for investors, very fitting for the home of the world's best performing stock market. I want to take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Street Forest and Ms. Kelly and the JCSD team for helping us to make this dream a reality. In closing, the players in the capital markets stand ready and able to play their role. The evolution of our local capital markets over the years is a testament to that. I encourage the authorities to play a part in facilitating the market and its players so that we can collectively work together to move this economy away from incremental growth to growth that is transformational. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the continued interest in the JSC conference and by extension the development of the regional capital markets.
On behalf of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, as well as my colleagues at Jefferies, I'd like to extend another heartfelt welcome to this year's special conference, 50 Years of Excellence. What an accomplishment for Jamaica Stock Exchange, as well as for the country itself. It is with great pride that during this golden celebration, I'm able to partake in this tremendous milestone. Yes, this will be our 14th year as lead sponsor, but in truth, my association with the Jamaica Stock Exchange actually began in 1998. So I feel especially honored to be asked to partake in this year's event, and Marlene, thank you very much. It is always our pleasure to begin the new year at this conference, and this year especially to mark this great occasion. Jefferies is a global investment banking firm with offices in over 30 cities worldwide and nearly 4,000 employees. Jefferies provides capital markets, financial advisory services, institutional brokerage, wealth management across the global spectrum. Prime Minister, according to the IMF, Jamaica debt is expected to be below 100% of GDP for the first time in over 18 years. You and your administration should be commended. Here in my second home of Jamaica, unemployment is at an all-time low of 8.4%, as well as economic growth forecasted at 1.5 to 2% for this fiscal year. With inflation now targeted between the 4 to 6% level, Jamaica is indeed on solid upward trajectory, and congrats must accompany these facts. My father always told me something. He said, when lessons have been learned, good things usually follow. And I think all the austerity that this country has gone through, those lessons have indeed been learned. 2018 was a year which Jamaica continued to integrate itself with international bond investors. As I highlighted on the stage last year, in 2017, Jamaica bonds significantly outperformed the MB Global benchmark of sovereign debt. In a year, the index was up sharply. That was nice. But here's something even better. In 2018, and this is very important, Jamaica outperformed the benchmark in a year where the benchmark was down sharply. The MB was down 4.6% in the last year, and the Jamaica sub-index was basically flat. I cannot stress enough how valuable that is to the global investment community. That has gotten the attention just like your stock market has. I mean, to have assets to go up when the market is strong is great. But when assets don't go down as sharply, when the rest of the index falls, it's fantastic. In other words, any investor who is overweighted in Jamaica actually generated positive alpha over the last 2 years. And that's a very important thing for the institutional world. Jamaica sovereign bonds had yet another milestone in 2018. By late in the year, they were trading roughly flat in terms of spreads to the likes of Trinidad. That is a staggering development for those of us that have been following the region for decades. Trinidad has historically traded at spreads that were hundreds of basis points tight to Jamaica. My point is this: Jamaica's credit has continued to improve. And why these rating agencies have failed to take proper notice of this is quite shocking to me, to put it mildly. I've actually been very vocal about that. I mean, there are only a handful of credits out there in all the sovereign world where there's actually reduction of GDP levels as we are speaking. So what can I say about 2019? Well, emerging market spreads are trading at their elevated levels to recent history, but with the ongoing weakening of the US dollar, I view these levels as very attractive. As for Jamaica, with 10-year spreads around 300 basis points and thus trading in line with BB rated countries, a continuation of recent local positive trends in Jamaica, fundamental continues to be priced accordingly. At least all three of the major rating agencies have indicated a decent chance for an upgrade in 2019, and all I can say is finally. The global markets will be watching for more of the same from Jamaica, namely ongoing fiscal performance, signs of economic growth, signs of private sector credit growth, and the public sector retreats from its dominance of capital markets, and the country's ability to finally stand tall on its own 2 feet of years past austerity. I think it's time that I'm going to end it right there because the next speaker is far more important than myself. I want to thank again Marlene and the entire Jamaica Stock Exchange crew for letting Jeffrey share in his 50th year celebration. I look forward to seeing all of you over the next few days of the conference. And Marlene, I only hope that you ask me back for next year, but not with more money like you keep doing. Thank you very much.
Please stay with us. When we come back, we'll have the keynote address here at the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introduce Control, a round view monitor, and Hill Start Assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And, you know, I am no stranger to this conference. I've done this maybe 6 times, 3 times as Prime Minister. And I've always tried to associate myself with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. It is indeed one of the great success stories of Jamaica, an institution which is now 50 years. Congratulations. The theme is one that I'm particularly interested in. When I read it first, I thought you were talking about national security, expanding our borders and securing our future. But the focus obviously is on transforming the regional economies, achieving robust economic growth. And I see why you have invited Prime Minister Motley, because she has to go through that very difficult task of transforming a regional economy. Jamaica is still going through that task. I hear the conversation shifting as if we have we are coming out of that very difficult period. Let me hastily remind everyone, Jamaica is still in a very precarious position. We have done very well, but we are not out of the woods. The theme is also important because CARICOM, our regional body, has had new life. I did my part, my chairmanship has ended, and Mia has come in with a burst of energy, and we have managed to do more than we have done in the last decade, in the last 2 years. Great changes have happened in CARICOM. The JSC continues to be one of the best performing exchanges in the world. This performance reflects the buoyancy and growing confidence in the Jamaican economy. The Jamaica Stock Exchange continues to send the signal that our investment community has the appetite, but more importantly, it has the cash to invest. So I'm particularly happy when Jamaica is recognized for its business enterprise, its stock market, its central bank. That kind of publicity is absolutely important, and not just portraying our country as a vacation destination, but also a place where serious business is taking place. News about our performance, it's not just superficial. Profound changes are happening in our economy. We have robust NIR, the highest has been in decades. We have low inflation rate. Now, I should point out that 2015 and 2018 were not the only times that the Jamaica Stock Exchange was #1 in the world. We were #1 in the world in the 1990s, somewhere about 1993. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere thereabouts. And of course, that was just before an incredible period of hyperinflation in our economy. So we were the fastest growing stock market in that period of time, but not with the same economic conditions as we have now. Now we have genuinely strong
economic conditions, such as I had mentioned before, robust net international reserves. But we have low inflation rates, exceptionally low inflation rates compared to the rest of the region, to the point where our target is 4 to 6%. And of course, you would have heard that we've missed the target. We got somewhere in about 2.4%. And the population is puzzled. Why is that a matter of concern? We should be celebrating that we have exceptionally low inflation. That's my view as well. But the economists will tell you that that is also a signal about aggregate demand and growth, the potential for growth in the economy. And so good economic management calls for the targeting of the inflation that you would like to achieve relative to the growth that you would like to achieve. We have a flexible exchange rate, genuinely classified, flexible exchange rate. Many persons are nervous about flexible exchange rates, but it's best for the economy. The rates are going up, they come down, they go up, they come down. That is just how a normally functioning market works. But what I really like is our public debt is consistently trending downwards. Gregory mentioned that we will be below 100% debt to GDP ratio by March when we announce the budget this year. You know, for those of you who may have forgotten, we are coming from the perilous levels of 141% of GDP, when the country was literally on the brink of bankruptcy, to know where we are. Of course, you know, I take no special credit. It is all of our sacrifice that have achieved this. And I would be giving myself a round of applause, giving yourselves a round of applause. We have interest rates, policy rates, which are extremely low, historic lows actually, and probably will get lower. So now is the time to make investments. But we also have record levels of high employment. I mean, the highest employment ever in the history of the employment statistic in Jamaica. And you would have heard the good news recently announced of further increases in employment, particularly as it relates to female unemployment. So generally, the country is doing well. There's no question about the economic performance of the country. To the point where we can hear special requests being made regarding changing the structure of taxes. And again, Stephen, I hear you. My view is that with all this success, we should be very cautious. We shouldn't be afraid to change, but we must calculate the risk of change and make changes cautiously, because it just takes one erratic move to create disruption in the negative sense of the term, because disruption is now a good word in thinking. So, Stephen, I hear you very, very well, and I listen to you very keenly. And it is a call that is being made generally. And there is, in my opinion, great merit to the call, because that could spur the economy even more. But we're here talking about the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And we're here talking about how well we have done, particularly at the macro level. But in the back of your minds, I'm sure you're wondering, then why is it that we're still not cracking that 2% ceiling for growth? What are the issues that are really holding us back? My thesis on it is that we need to do much more work at the microeconomic level. We've done well at the macroeconomic level, but we now need to pay attention to the level of operations such that we pay attention to the operations of the firm and the regulatory environment in which the firm operates and the distortions that sends the wrong signals to the firms. So government policy has to evolve to have greater emphasis on things like public sector reform, which we have talked about for a long time. It's very difficult to do. It's a political minefield, but it has to be done. We have to talk about things like improving the approval process and the general business processes of government. Business process re-engineering for government is absolutely important in order to create that regulatory environment in which firms can have regulatory certainty and can make decisions, not just basing decisions on the interest rates, inflation rate, etc., but what are the regulators going to do? How quickly can we get through the dense bureaucracy of government? And then we have to pay attention to how do we integrate technology into our operations, particularly within government operations, to support the activities of the firm. But another strategy at the microeconomic level which we have to pay close attention to, and which government has, is how do we create an ownership economy? That's one. But more so, how do we get the full utilization of all the assets of government? The government has a tremendous amount of assets. A large percentage of them, the value is not realized. The value is just sitting down there, not realized. And you see them. We have land not being used. We have factories and buildings not being used. But we have value in companies that the public isn't seeing the value in them. Because in the mind of the public, these companies can't be traded.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is about to launch its social enterprise listings. So what is this now? The stock market, which is a private enterprise, getting into social enterprise, getting into public goods. There's no reason why markets cannot be used to address social goods, public goods. There's no reason. And they do very well if properly regulated. One of the reasons why shareholders do better than voters in ensuring accountability and ensuring innovation is that shareholders have more information. And what the stock market does is, one, it ensures that the enterprise meets certain standards of accountability, both fiduciary and governance. And it ensures that there is a market for information by law, and it connects interests. So the shareholders' interest is to ensure that they hold directors to account, and directors' interest is to make sure that they meet the shareholder requirement and they maximize whatever it is that is the objective. So with the social, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, those entities which will be listed would go through a rigorous process, a vetting process of ensuring that, for example, they have good institutional structures to ensure that the project themselves are feasible and make sense. And that gives a greater level of knowledge, of information, and assurance to persons who would want to invest. Because the error in people's mind is that people are only investing to make profits. There are persons who are investing to maximize other objectives. One objective could be social good. The truth is that we all do that from time to time. We give to a cause, whether it is we give in kind, we give our labor, we give our time, we give what we can. But some people give significant resources to things that they believe are important, that helps to, for example, create a memory for their name, for example. So on the social stock market, I would give, obviously, if I'm convinced that the objective, the social objective, is a good one, that my giving would not be in vain, that there is accountability for the resources that I am giving. And that would take away, if you're giving large sums of money, you want to know that the objective to which you're giving, that the persons who have received the funds are using it for the cause. Having a stock market in place where the companies are listed, there is a process, a very rigorous process, that gives you a certain level of insurance. So I'm certain that the Agency for Inner City Renewal, EAR, Alpha School of Music, Choose Life International, Def Can Coffee, and Praise Jamaica. These are the 5 companies with which you could describe them as social enterprises that have been vetted by the Jamaica Stock Exchange, approved to be listed, that these companies are good entities for which to put your giving, your philanthropic giving to. And I would encourage, I endorse this, and I encourage all Jamaicans to participate by giving to these companies. So I want to, again, congratulate the Jamaica Stock Exchange for this new innovation. I know it will be successful. I'm endorsing it, and I'm asking Jamaicans to participate. So it gives me great honor, in closing my presentation, to ask the representatives of these companies. The representatives are here, yes? Please, if you would join me on stage. Marlene. Of course, Professor Neville Ying is the chairman of the board of the new Social Capital Exchange. And these are representatives of the various companies that have been approved. And so it gives me a great pleasure, and it is a distinct honor to officially launch the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want to thank you for being a very good audience, and again, congratulations to the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
We've just wrapped things up here on the first day of the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference and the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. I've been your host, Javon Keys, and you're tuned into Business Access TV, serious about business.
On this week's episode of Chill Spot, we'll be in the company of Kesia Johnson-Vaughan. She's the Marketing Manager of Programs at Scotiabank Jamaica. She'll be sharing with us one of her favorite hideaway spots. It's Jake's Hotel, Villa and Spa right here in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. So don't go anywhere, you won't want to miss it. Hi guys, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, Kesia. Candy.
Nice to meet you. Welcome
Hi.
to Jake's and Treasure
Thank
Beach.
you. This is just a lovely property. As you step out here, you feel the ambience. It just feels so good.
And the breeze.
Oh, amazing. Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little about Jake's and the history of the property.
Wow. Well, my grandparents came here in 1941 and built a little cottage, a two-bedroom cottage, which is on Calabash Bay, the year my mother was born. And then 50 years later, 1991, they leave the little cottage for my aunt and the house in Mandeville for my mother.
Right.
And she was like, no, 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 I want a piece of Treasure Beach as well. So she sold the house in Mandeville and bought this original house behind us, which is over 100 years old.
Wow.
And that's how Jake started in 1993 as a restaurant, because there was nowhere to eat.
Right.
And back then it was really just German backpackers who were coming to Treasure Beach, you know. No one else had really heard of it.
Right.
And I was in banking. I was managing Pan-Caribbean Merchant Bank in Montego Bay. And I said, you know, to my mother, I said, you know, let's expand the restaurant into a hotel. And I gave up my job. And everyone was very concerned because, you know, they're going to Treasure Beach where no one had heard of, and there were not even phone lines back here in 1992. And today, you know, we really have a boutique hotel that we're so proud of.
Love it. And how many rooms does the hotel currently have?
We have 50 rooms, made up of 30 rooms on the main property, and then we have 6 cottages and 6 villas within walking distance. So people consider here as like, you know, the hotel.
Right.
And then, you know, they speak about Jake's Village, which is basically, you know, throughout the area of Treasure Beach.
And as we're here today, I've been told that the entire place is sold out. Is that true?
It is, and you know, January, February, March, we really do a lot of,
busy time.
yeah. But it's been a real mother and son journey, you know, because my mother is a creative one, and she's an artist.
Well, I love what she has done with the place. It is beautiful.
It's really amazing. I absolutely love it here. That's why it's called the Chill Spot.
All right.
I love it.
People
Love
come
it.
and chill here all the time, boy, I tell you.
I'm telling you, from Kingston to here, you can't ask for anything else.
With the new highway now,
Yeah.
it's easy.
In no time.
And we have our own airstrip, 10 minutes from the property. We put in an airstrip 5 years ago.
Wow.
So people flying in small planes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
That's convenient.
to us, it's about building a destination, and we want to be a model for community and sustainable travel.
I love that you guys are giving back, which is just so important in business these days.
It is. We have our own non-profit organization called Breads. You know, it's like brother or brethren. And I grew up in Treasure Beach hearing fishermen hail each other as Breads.
Right.
So we decided to form a non-profit organization. Over the last 5 years, we've raised over $1 million to develop the Treasure Beach Sports Park and Academy. And 60% of that has come from corporate Jamaica, including banks like Scotia Bank. And then also the public sector, so the Sports Development Foundation, the Tourism Enhancement Fund. We work very closely with UNICEF, and we have a program that promotes game-based learning in 60 schools with 12,000 kids a week.
Wow.
27.
Learning.
Yeah.
Is that like, what kind of games?
It's activities. What you find is that the primary schools don't have a physical education program. So we train coaches, but taught them games and activities that stimulate learning. So it fills the PE curriculum.
Right.
So we wanted to work in that space. So we trained these coaches. The Ministry of Education have endorsed it, and then UNICEF funded it. So it's affecting 12,000 kids a week. So that's something we're very, very proud of.
They're learning at the same time.
Learning at the same time.
It's lovely. You guys are doing so much. Are we going to be doing a lot today?
Yes, Candy, we're going to be doing a lot today. We're going to enjoy the property. So, we have to have some lovely, lovely food at the restaurant, which we're going to taste later. And we're going to go by the beach. We're going to enjoy the nice scene. We're definitely going to go to my little swing around there. Just relaxing your mind. We will definitely, of course, come back and we're going to go by the spa. Nice massage. The spa. After coming from Kingston,
you need that.
Yeah, you need that unwind. So definitely we're going to go to the spa. And let's see what else we can take in, because the day is going to be really tight packed, but let's see what we can put in.
Well, Kezia, let's start by doing a little tour. I want to see the rooms and what this property is like.
Yes.
And Jason, thank you so much for talking to us.
And welcome again.
Thank you.
Go and explore.
I will. Thank you, Jason. All right.
Let's go.
Candy,
bye.
Let's go.
What would you say drives you to succeed as a young person in business?
My mantra is strive for excellence, and I don't settle for in between. It's just go and do it.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
It's not straightening. That's so funny. That's just too funny.
Okay, so let's talk about your professional life. What do you do?
I'm marketing manager programs at Scotiabank.
And what does that mean?
Okay, so Scotiabank, as you know, we deal with several different business lines.
Right.
And so business lines consist of, where other companies will say brands, we call them business lines. So currently I manage corporate and commercial banking, small business, as well as Credit Scotia, credit cards, and non-branch merchant services.
And you do the marketing for all of those?
All of these business lines. What that means is coming up with the strategy, managing the execution, looking for opportunities to help the different sectors, business lines to grow, and also how to increase customer relationship, client intimacy, just looking about how to get the brands out there.
And were you always in banking, or?
No, so I left Caramac at that time, went straight to Jamaica National, and where I was doing PR for them.
Wait, you said Caramac?
Caramac.
So that's what you studied?
I studied media and communications. I know, right? But don't ask me, I actually wanted to be a journalist. Right. You know, my friends keep asking, Casey, how did you make the transition? Actually, it was in alcohol.
Alcohol?
Right, so I worked with Diageo for about 3 years, and then subsequently I left Diageo and went to Lascelles. So I worked with Lascelles for about 2.5 years, where I managed even Magnum tonic wine.
Okay.
So I was a brand manager for Magnum at one point in time. Managed Campari, vodka. But while I was at Red Stripe, I did sales and business development. And then there's an opportunity that came up at the time, and I left and went to Lascelles, okay. Which was then a part of the Renefe Group, and that was a category manager post. So pretty much I managed several brands again, and as well as some brand managers.
What would you say is your favorite part about your job?
Execution. One of the things I love to see was when you have an idea, and you know it's a lot of work and back and forth with different suppliers and the concepts, and you want to get it all together. And when you actually have that idea and you're able to look back and see the execution, see your find come to fruition, you see the life, and then people are enjoying the concept, and you get the feedback from people, from your different customers to say, wow, this is lovely. Right. Who came up with this concept? I enjoyed it. That alone, just really amazing. Your partners are happy, your customers are happy, and then your brand is strong.
Absolutely. And then similarly now, what would you say is the most challenging part about your position?
All right, so working with people is never easy. So the thing is that because I manage several business lines, every different business line has a different personality. And then, working with different persons, some persons are very conservative, the other persons you have to convince them to understand why you're doing this from a marketing perspective, because you always know, persons always think marketers just spend money, but they don't see that we really adding value and helping, because if you don't market your product,
translating into a sale, people don't see that.
You go.
Right.
So you have to try to convince your partner sometimes to see that, listen, you're coming up with something to help your brand to be out there. The more your brand is out there, then people are going to want more. So that's probably one of the most challenging part of the job.
Specific to your role and the programs that you have executed, talk to us a little about that.
All right, so like I was explaining to you earlier, I manage at least 6 business lines. Right. So let's take, for example, one of the business lines, credit card. So Scotiabank has several credit cards, as you see out there. So that's actually my portfolio. So when you see all the different ads, the concept, etc., surrounding credit cards, that's actually, along with the other team members, we work together, but I manage it for the Jamaica execution. So Salute was one of our recent execution. And so with that, what we looked at was how do we get persons to first get a credit card, acquire a credit card. So we also had a special for like welcome bonus, as well as if you were using a credit card, what value you would get. So we have our cashback MasterCard goal. We push about persons using the card and get back 3% cashback. Or if you wanted to get an Air Platinum card, you get a welcome bonus of up to 15,000 Scotia points. Right.
that is the car that you should get.
Right.
So pretty much, you know, that one of the portfolios that one of the major projects I've worked on, I've also just done like other exhibitions like Shaggy Show, Business Leaders Awards.
And those would be all the events that you guys sponsor?
Right, we sponsor. So sometimes what happens is that outside of my brands, I manage projects as well, which means I oversee to ensure that execution is done properly, work with the different partners, cover the decorative concepts, you know, etc. So like corporate and commercial banking business line is kind of different because it's more customer relationship branding versus going out there and marketing a product.
What would you say drives you to succeed as a young person in business?
Well, I should tell you that God is the center of my life. Everything that I do is centered around Him. And so that keeps me grounded. My grandmother is somebody who always say, go after your dreams. And she was like, never give up. And I've just looked at that. So there are little things I've taken from different persons, combine them together with God at the center. And that has been helping me a lot in everything that I do. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm very focused, I'm very passionate.
You go all out.
I go all
can
out.
see that.
I believe in, my mantra is strive for excellence. And you know, I don't settle for in between. It's just go and do it.
And what about your other passions? I mean, you sound so passionate about work. Is there anything else that you're passionate about?
I love running.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
You're a runner?
Yes, I'm a runner.
And I should be able to, I can't see the legs, but I should be able to tell by the physique.
I love running. I am now president of Jamdama Running Club, which is 20 years old. So before I go to work, I do a 3 or 5 mile run. Just to
every morning, KCL?
Almost every morning. If it's not minimum 3 mornings. And then on a weekend, I do 10 miles or 8 miles every weekend on a Saturday morning.
Wow, things
Yes.
I will never do.
I love running and I also love giving back. So with my church, currently I work with Maxfield Park Children's Home. I've been doing that for 1 year and 4 months. And I go back every Sunday. We teach either Sunday school or I go back in the evenings and we have like watch movie evenings with them. We sit and talk with them, we counsel, we play games, we have game day, we have sports day, all these different things. So the combination, giving back and exercise is important.
And with all of that going on, how do you balance it?
You find the time for what you really want to do. That's how I realize. It may seem like there's never enough time in a day, but if you really want to do something, you find the time. And one of the things for me is, I don't want to get selfish and get caught up in just achieving, and there are other persons out there that need help. And so I always think about how can I make a difference in somebody's life? Because one of the things that I always say I want to do is leave a legacy. And what is that legacy? That legacy is just, I just help at least one person can say, because of Kesia, my life has changed, or she has helped me in some way, shape, or form. All right.
You've already accomplished so much at Scotiabank and otherwise. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Ultimately, I'm going to have my own company. I love PR, I love marketing. I also love planning weddings. So I don't know how I'm going to combine all of them, but I know ideally for now, I'm at Scotiabank. And my goal is to really get as far as possible in Scotiabank. I don't know if I'll ever be in Jackie's shoe. I don't know. But I mean, long term, I can say for the next 3 to 4 years, I definitely want to grow in my role. There are many opportunities within Scotiabank. I love the small business sector. I love marketing. So let's see where it lies. But my goal is to be excellent at whatever I do. And by just being excellent, opportunities always present itself.
All right, Kesia, so what is next on our list, our very long list of activities to do here?
Exercise. So we're going to go for a ride, and then we're going to go to lunch after the ride.
All right, bicycle?
Yes, bicycle. Okay. So you're going to get fit, Candy, right? Are you ready?
I'm never ready for things like this, but let's go.
But how are you ready for carnival? I can't understand that.
Coming up.
Believe it or not, I love to wash. I know it's kind of weird. I like doing housework. It's kind of weird.
Wash
I
like
know.
wash clothes or wash
like
dishes or wash anything?
Anything.
your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com. All right, Kesia, so let's get into or delve into a little bit more personal stuff now. I'd like to know how you were raised, what your childhood was like. Talk to us about that.
All right, so I'm from the parish of Trelawney. Grew up in a very small community called Clarkstone. Pretty much farming was what really drive the business in that little community. I went to Clarkstone Primary School and then I went to Westwood High. That school really played an integral role in raising me as a young lady. And then came to Kingston to do my A-levels, pre-university school, and then just went straight into university. Growing up as a child, I've always loved sports too. I really used to play netball. I played netball for my community. So I was an excellent goal shooter. I played all the way in high school, all the way up until university. All the time at UW, I actually was even captain for like 3 years. Okay. So I was very involved from that time. I loved sports. So, pretty much my life was high school, school, church, home, and pretty much any other extracurricular activity. But it was always fun because we used to love play cricket in the road. Right. I was a little tomboy. Really? May not believe it or not. I know. I was. I know, can't see that. But I think I transitioned from when I was growing up into a teenager. Went to high school, you become more conscious of your body. Right. So I kind of stopped being a little tomboy, but I'd climb every tree. Ackee tree, guinea tree, whatever you think about, I could climb a tree. The only one I could not climb, I remember I used to try coconut trees. Okay. So that really was my childhood.
You're married?
I'm married. No children.
No children.
As yet, but I'm married.
Tell us a little about your husband.
And Vaughn is my husband. Really beautiful soul, a wonderful person. Very quiet, doesn't like the limelight, doesn't like being out. So you're not going to see him as much. Just more private things, being home together, coming to these little hideaway spots, that kind of thing. He's a father, so I have a stepson. His name is Shane. Really nice, beautiful young man as well.
So how do you balance it all? I know we touched on this earlier, but this is a role as a wife, and then you have your professional role as well. Like, how do you balance everything?
I really do try. So for a long time, I've had believe in this mantra of living a balanced life. So for me, my friends ask, how you do it? You try to take care. So you get up, you take off your house. Believe it or not, I love to wash. I know it's kind of weird. I like doing housework. It's kind of weird.
Wash wash clothes or wash dishes or wash anything?
Anything. I'll wash dishes, wash clothes. I know. It's not the average typical woman. I know people look at me, right? People look at me and like, Casey, are you? No. But I like to clean. And when I'm finished, I like how the house smells, how it looks, all of that. And I do find time. So when I'm ready, I'm like, okay, today is my day. It's our day. We're going to close off. We're just not going to do anything. We're going to stay home or we're going to movies. So I try to find that time to balance sometimes because you do need it. It's important to really make sure that you find time for your significant other. Right. Don't get caught up in all of corporate. And sometimes you bring them along, depending on the event, you bring him along with you just to kind of you see what you're doing and you get involved as well in probably what he's doing as well, support him at work.
What's the one thing you'd want people to take away from our day-to-day and from everything that you've said?
What I want to say to anybody who is watching this show is to thine own self, be true.
Yeah.
Always ensure that you be authentic, be real, You know, let God lead your life. Have fun. Life is short. Enjoy it. Keep positive people around you, right? Take time sometimes from all the noise around you and just be grateful. You know, give God thanks for life, for everything, because today was an awesome day. I think I've said so many things in one, but at the end of the day, to thine own self, be true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the only things we have left to do is the spa and then some food. Yes. I'm ready for that food, so let's head to the spa.
Oh, this is just fabulous.
Well, Kezia, thank you very much for sharing your chill spot with us. I had an amazing day. This property is fabulous. Bike riding was, I'm not going to say it was amazing because not too like the exercise.
I don't quite get it though. You're having me, and it was an amazing day for me as well. I loved it. Thank you.
Jake's Hotel Villa and Spa is rich in character and in history. Today I really got to appreciate this gem on the South Coast as we chilled with Kezia Johnson-Vaughan, Marketing Manager Programs at Scotia Bank Jamaica, a young lady who is really making her mark on corporate Jamaica. I hope you guys enjoyed watching Chill Spot as much as I enjoyed doing all the activities today. And until next time, I'm Candy signing out. Bye. Jake's Hotel Villa and Spa is rich in culture. No, it's not culture, character and history. Ready?
I am Kezia Johnson-Vaughan, Marketing Manager at Scotiabank. Today, this Friday, I'll be hanging out with Candice at Jake's. Persons can get cards, and we were giving away like, sorry. It's a tree, something from a tree.
It's a leaf, it's a leaf.
Oh, I thought it was something, I was like scary. Oh my God. So that's the kind of thing that I facilitate. So my role is very broad. Sorry.
Stop, roll your eyes. Stop, roll your eyes.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
The
uses of bamboo are endless, from textiles to paper to food to furniture. The Chinese have developed their bamboo industry into a US $14 billion enterprise. But can Jamaica profit from this fast-growing plant? Today on Cameo, we will take a look at bamboo and wicker furniture. The original bamboo factory has been in operation since 1990, creating quality bamboo furniture for every room in your home. I had a chat with Chief Executive Officer John Hamilton.
So that bamboo factory started 25 years ago. But I came back from, I was traveling around the world after college for about a year, and in my trips I went to Thailand. And in Thailand, I went to a place and saw them cutting down the bamboo and making huts. And I thought to myself, well, this is, makes sense. And we have lots of bamboo in Jamaica. When I go back to Jamaica, maybe I'll utilize the bamboo a bit more efficiently. I got enticed into working in movies, in the set design and props for a few years. And those jobs, they come and they go until you kind of wonder when the next job is coming in. I met Dominic Gassez, who was also doing it, and the two of us wanted, were friendly and wanted to do something together. And then we went to a party and saw some furniture, and that led to the idea of maybe making bamboo furniture. I had to just drive out into the country and spot bamboo growing in a hill and check a man whose bamboo is that, or and you get one lead, one man will say, I know where some bamboo is, and take you there, and the next man. And that sort of gets you onto the road, and after that you're kind of away. And then of course the advent of cell phone, because there wasn't cell phone back then. Nowadays people call you and say they have the bamboo ready, and they cut it and do everything themselves, and order it on the phone. So we've taken that process of us going to the bush and having to cut the bamboo and spend a day with a chainsaw, cooking in a big pot, and everybody having a merry time. The process starts when you give the builder the design with all the particulars, dimensions, what he's to get. And then he goes out and looks in our stocks and selects all the bamboo that he would need for that. And those pieces of bamboo are cut into certain lengths that he needs. Builder has selected the bamboo for this certain job. He gives that bamboo to a scraper, and he or she scrapes the bamboo with a sharp kitchen knife and removes all the outer skin. This allows the bamboo to have a more uniform color in appearance, and it also gives it a better treatment process so that the chemicals can penetrate the bamboo better when the bamboo is scraped. So we actually have to scrape it twice. But after the scraping, the bamboos are dipped in a dip tank for a few hours, and then left to dry for the rest of the day or another day or something. And after that, then they're made into furniture using hole saws, drills. It's low in capital because the machines we use are just basically hand drills, a belt sander, and that's it. I mean, we tried a bandsaw. When you chop the bamboo, it frays. So the best way to cut a bamboo is to turn it and cut it as you're turning the bamboo, you're cutting it. And the best saw to cut the bamboo is like a sharp teeth saw where you have double edge that cuts the bamboo best, or a hacksaw. And you go through these saws rapidly. It's hard, they're difficult to sharpen, and hacksaws, you just need a new blade and all that. So, the biggest expense was really going to the bush and procuring the bamboo, and also treating the bamboo with buying the chemicals and whatever. Make a lot of things, but our bamboo is not quite as good as what they have in the Far East. And so you don't have the straight lines quite, and the wall thickness is not consistent, and a lot of factors. Plus you have to make sure they treat the bamboo properly for bugs and stuff. And for outdoor use, it's limited in its, it can be, vulnerable to the elements. So you have to look at, special ways to treat the bamboo and protect it from the sun and the rain if being used on a veranda or something. And well, as you know, it's been talked about and hyped up a lot in the press. Bamboo is the future and this and that, and the amount of millions of dollars other countries make out of their bamboo and stuff, and why can't Jamaica make the same? So I don't think it's necessarily dying. It's a little bit it's actually in its infancy still, although we've been in it business for 25 years, pioneering it really. There are a number of people showing interest. There was one other furniture place, but they got special funding and they no longer doing it. But the charcoal business with bamboo, and there's other little products that they can use with bamboo that other people are looking to do, bamboo shoots for food and stuff. We'll see. Right, in fact, this morning some people came by that want to lease some land from me right next to us to do bamboo business, making charcoal amongst other things and utilizing the bamboo in energy. So we're trying to encourage that and maybe give them some land so that they can, it'll be a sort of bamboo mecca right here. Well, it's difficult when you're coming up with a business plan and the concept and the idea and everything, you never really know what you're going into fully. So it's one thing making up a business plan, another thing actually executing it successfully, and all the pitfalls and all the things that come along that you never really accounted for in the first place. So you have to be cautious of that and build that into your business plan. Also the market and the fickle market, and what is if you have an outlet that is going to take your things to start with, or if you have to make it all and then go to the market with your product and then try to flog it, which we did basically. It's not easy, but I could probably do better and get more salespeople on the road out there marketing it. But that's what you got to do. Go from, that's what we've had to do. Go from hotel to hotel, knocking on doors. And a lot of these big hotels, you think they're coming in to buy furniture. I remember when we first came here, Jampro brought us all, the producers, together, and the executives toured this sort of conference, this hall of all these products. And when they came to ours, they loved it. And they said, oh yes, you got a call back. Come to the hotel in the Grill and whatever, and we want to see more of your products and set up a room and all this. But at the end of the day, they went foreign and brought in their furniture, and they never used local really products. So, they have the Dominican Republic or Mexico or whatever doing. And they use a standard thing in their hotel, especially light chains of hotel. They use a standard thing, which is not, we're not the standard, we're special boutique hotel type things. But then, when you do have a boutique hotel that buys from you, yes, utilize the internet and the marketing tools in that respect. They can get a lot of mileage from that. And I did it on piecework, farm it out, do your costs carefully, and have a good accounting knowledge. It's not just an idea and something like that. The business sense and your accounts need to be kept in order from day one and looked after carefully. You can easily get carried away in your production and running around the place selling and making, and you're actually, the more you make, the more you lose. So you have to have your figures, you have to have that side well pat down. Yeah. Well, we're hoping to have these other company close to us now. So we'll see what that takes us into that realm, utilizing the bamboo, charcoal, making energy using the energy in treating the bamboo, in heating and all sorts of things. Trying to find some funds to just increase the marketing aspect and the internet and the website. Still, our catalogue is so much better than our website that if people knew really what we did, I think we'd get more sales. And everyone sees us and everyone sees our products, they all go, wow, you must be making money and boy, you can sell this and you know, aren't you guys rolling in it, you know, because you have such a good thing. And boy, you know, I didn't know this existed. Wow, this is fantastic, you know. So it's really to get the word out and promote it that will lead to further sales. And
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Horace Thomas, owner of Unique Wicker Works, talks to us about the business of wicker products. Wicker is a woven fiber formed into a rigid material, usually used for baskets or furniture. The plant use is found in St. Mary, St. Anne, St. Catherine, and Westmoreland. The terrain is often difficult to reach and hazardous.
It grew up in mountains, you know, but it preferably like cool climate. But it also can bear in sun.
Vines are used for tying and binding in furniture making or basketry. In order for the vines to be used, the outer layer needs to be stripped and dried.
We gather it in bungle and then bring it to my location. That's my shop here. I have a little machine around the side of the shop which I strip it out, put it in the sun dries it, and then water, and then so on, chairs and baskets. I make headboards, I make entertainment stand, dining table, I make hats, I make even ring, yeah, I make bracelets. People from all walks of life love wicker, you know. Every nation loves wicker.
Dave sells his products to both tourists and locals. His website, davecustomwicker.com, gives him an edge for international orders.
But the smaller stuff now, we like to sell to the tourists because the tourists like to take the souvenirs and some of the smaller things like the basket and stuff. Like the tourists they more buy them, but like the chairs and stuff is like native people mostly patronize the chairs and stuff.
Selling about 200 pieces a year, low costs of inputs and prices ranging from $2,000 to $150,000, Dave Custom Wicker turns a profit every single year.
Well, these things have its season, you know. It have its season. When it's the season time, when like the tourist season, yes, we do all right, yes. Like coming up, the spring break coming up now. Problem I have sometimes when I don't take advance from customer. Sometimes I have a little problem because when I make the stuff, some people sometimes they don't turn up. But after a time it turns out to be sweet because we get to sell it otherwise. The lesson I learned from business, it teach me to patience, because this work is faith. You have to have faith, strong faith. If you don't have the faith, you can't do the work. For example, I make this chair. I don't guarantee someone gonna buy it. We just make it. But the faith tell me that somebody going to buy it. And somebody buy it. So all my life is just faith I work with. We sit here the other day and a gentleman just come in, one customer, 60 chairs. I never know he was coming. So that one customer now, it gave me 20 customers. So the work is just the faith. Oh yeah, I would like to get a contract with the hotels so we can produce more chairs for them and tables, you know? Yeah. Say to the youths them, it's good to learn a skill, because when you have a skill, you're more grounded. Yeah, you're more grounded in life when you have a skill, and you keep it out of trouble. Yeah, and them said by the sweat of your brow, that's how you eat bread, you know? So hard work is good for the soul.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
Alton Watts of Modern Woodcraft Limited talks to us about making wood furniture products, challenges in the industry, and his business.
Modern Woodcraft started in 1979. That was a period when a lot of manufacturers were closing their business and migrating. So we entered the manufacturing business at that point, manufacturing furniture for homes, offices. We specialize in wooden product. That is, we use mahogany, cedar, poplar, and wood of that nature. We do not use superboard or bagasse. If you see in the first tagline, we make our products from real wood. 40% of what we do is in kitchen and fixtures, comprising closets, along that line, and then you have wooden and upholstered furniture as the other 60%, as well as office desk and chairs. Those days, if you had $10,000 to start a business, it was a whole lot of money. 10,000 then is like 10 million now. Because I remember a machine that we bought for probably about $250. Then it's probably about $150,000 for it now. But we started quite humble with just about 3 machines and 5 workers, and continued over the period. Selection of lumber is very important because that will guide what color you are going to put onto it. You have to know the grain of the wood depending on what your customer is asking for. You would like to know that the grain run in similar direction, not some going that way and some going this way. You have to make sure the lumber is cured. Then you send those lumber to a rough cut department where they are cut to the size of which you're going to use. Then it moves from the rough cut department to a finished cut department, which is final cut. Job is squared, sanded, and whatever mortise and tenon that you have to cut. And then it is passed on to assembling department. From the polishing then, or the upholstering for that matter, if it's upholstering furniture, then you will talk about the quality control to make sure that it is up to standard and to the customer's expectation. The number of persons you have depending on the season. Going towards Christmas, you know, you will have extra, but January to September, it is always low. The good old days, we used to have up to 60 people working here, but this is not the case now because of how the economy is going. We find that these days, the customers that we are getting in now are those who have been sent here by their parents. When they were children, their parents bought from us. So they'll be coming now and say, you build my bedroom set when my mother or my parents move into this new house or something like that. So they are moving out and they get their product from us. It takes a lot out of you to, first of all, interpret what the customer wants. Most customers have an idea what they want, but they can't tell you how. So you have to interpret that, then convert that in drawing for them to understand, and then you proceed to make it. It's not an easy task. If you're going to cut some board and nail it together, a different story. But if you are doing good quality furniture, it's an art. The bulk of it is imported material because right now, mahogany has become so expensive that the demand, people want it, but the price is so expensive. So the bulk of what we use now is poplar wood, which is imported, or cedar, which is local. You have to know the business that you are going into, and you have to love it. You have to give it attention. Just like how you would give attention to a family member. You have to remember the people you serve, which is our customer. As a business is never static. And one always have to be finding ways of innovating and improving. But one has to marry that with the economic climate that we are in. If you are going to buy some machine now, you have to ensure that you can get the volume of business to pay back for that machine. You have to ensure that the capital is available. So although we have plans to go forward, we have to gauge it in keeping with the economy and the experience that we have had both in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
And that's it for Cameo this week. We've taken a glimpse into bamboo and wicker furniture, all made in Jamaica. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs to fund for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2-3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional